Hello, welcome to the 26 YouTube channel. Today we're going to be reviewing the first 4 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett and what I predict will happen in the coming episodes. Please let me know what you guys think of this show in the comments down below and what you think might happen. Let's start with an overview of the show. To start with, I really like this show. Star Wars are incredible at making TV shows, I find. Like The Mandalorian was incredible. I think it's up there. I would put top 3 favourite shows of all time. Nothing's beating Brooklyn Nine-Nine, sorry lads. But Star Wars is just really good at doing this, and Jon Favreau and the rest of the directors really know what they're doing. Now this show has a really it's a strange one. It has like a Western sci-fi, which are 2 very different genres. But that's the kind of vibe it's got. It's got a Western sci-fi type of vibe. And I think it really works because it's so different, and it does have a very different vibe to The Mandalorian, even though you know they're both in the Star Wars world. They both have very different tones and even colour schemes, like, you know, with the sands of Tatooine and like the dark blue colours The Mandalorian likes to use. Right, let's talk about some of the characters this show's introduced or in the show, starting with the obvious Boba Fett. Now, Boba Fett is a character that has grown incredibly since his last movie appearance. Obviously, we've seen him in The Mandalorian, and he was really good in that. But I think in this show, we've seen a very different side to him. He's become a leader, and he's a leader because of the Tuscan Raiders and the relationship he built with them. And he understands what it's like to have a tribe, to have family. And I think that instead of making him weaker, which I think some other bounty hunters would see, he's took the opposite direction, and it's made him stronger as a character. I also love how Boba Fett as a character just speaks in inspirational quotes every single time he speaks. You know, if it's just him going, "I am Boba Fett," or him saying, you know, "Jabba ruled with fear, I intend to rule with respect." Like, I feel like every single word that comes out of his mouth, you could put on a billboard and go like, that's badass. The acting from Timothy, is it Tamore? I think it's Tamore Morrison. Very good. I really like him as an actor. I really like the grittiness in his voice. I feel like it really adds to the Boba Fett character. Next up on the list, we have Boba Fett's brand new #1. His sidekick, you know, his person by his side all the time, and that's Fennec Shan. Fennec is a strange character because I really liked her in the first season of The Mandalorian, and obviously towards the latter end of Mandalorian season 2. But I feel like at the start of this show, I don't feel like we saw enough of her, and she didn't have time to shine and show us what she's really about, and that made me feel more disconnected to the character. Like, there was times where I was like, instead of going into an episode going, "Oh, I can't wait to see some things of Fennec," it's kind of like, I don't, like, she's been brushed off to the side, and I'm okay with that. But in the last episode that just came out, episode 4, she was used a lot more, especially into breaking into Jabba's palace. That scene was really cool. And she shined like hell in that scene. She was so good. And just shows what a badass character she is. I really like her. And I also really liked, just going back on episode 1, even though she was very rarely used. I think this is the only like bit of screen time she really got in episode 1. But when she had that rooftop chase, not really, because she didn't really do anything like crazy in that chase. I just really liked the cinematography of that scene, and it was really cool. Next, we have the absolute unit, which is Black Croissant, which is a character, admittedly, alright, I do really like Star Wars, but I didn't know of this character before the Book of Boba Fett. But I know if you are somebody who reads the Star Wars books or comics and you saw Black Croissant show up on screen, I bet that was such a powerful moment for you guys, and I'm really happy that happened. And I feel like Star Wars needs to start taking more inspiration from some of those comics and books and start bringing them into the live action world, because that's what everybody wants. Also, his design is really cool. He's just an absolute unit, isn't he? Like, he just looks cool. He looks a lot different from other Wookiees as well. I really like his electric sort of knuckle dusters he has, which are really cool. And I also like the underlining message of Yes, I know, because I've now researched on Black Croissant from the books and the comics. I know that him and Boba Fett did work for each other under, or didn't work for each other. They worked together under Darth Vader, and it's just cool because they've gone from working together under somebody else. They're just working together free. They're not working for anybody. They're just working together as warriors, as leaders, and I think, look, it's just really cool. The Tuscan Raiders, right? Let's talk about them for a second, because I don't think anyone expected going into the series, if you were to say Tuscan Raiders were in this, to say that everyone would fall in love with them. Everyone has. I think you see what a tight unit and the proper tribe the group of Tuscans are, and you actually feel really heartbroken when the kind of thump in the chest comes when you find out they've been slaughtered by the bad biker gang. I don't really know what to call them, because there are two bike gangs in this series, which we'll go on to talk about in a second. But yeah, the Tuscan Raiders are a crucial part of this storyline, because without them, I don't think Boba Fett even wants to be the leader of Tatooine. I don't even think he wants to sit in that chair and be a leader and build a community if it wasn't for the Tuscan Raiders. Now, going back to bike gangs, not the ones that we just spoke about, the ones that just massacred the Tuscan Raiders, but I'm talking about the Power Rangers, right? Okay, that's the name a lot of people in the Star Wars community are giving them. And I don't really get the whole hate between these guys. Like, I know a lot of people in the Star Wars community do not like these, and they made fun of the chase scene, but I thought they're really cool. I'm not sure about the bike colours. I guess that's where the whole Power Rangers thing has come from, but I thought they were really cool and different and fun. And, you know, I feel like if this bike gang was on any other planet, well, not any other planet, they could be on Mustafar, but if they were like in any like high population planet in Star Wars, they would fit in perfectly. I think people were just getting a bit ahead of the gun, making fun of them just because they're on Tatooine and they look a bit out of place. But I think it's just like a cultural thing. I think it's like showing, like, you know, different worlds in Star Wars, and just showing some of them have, you know, gone over to Tatooine because of money and etc. Now, the next character I'm going to talk about is the Mayor, which is a weird character because it's not really a character I have much to talk about or even have much of an opinion on, but I think he's the main antagonist of the series, which is strange because we haven't seen anything of him. It's hard to have an opinion on someone you literally have hardly seen. But you can obviously tell that he's playing a big role in the series, but we haven't really seen much of him. A bit of a boring character so far. A bit of just like, I like his assistant. I feel like what they did with him was cool, and they made him quite interactive. But the Mayor himself, very boring character, to be honest. Not really a fan. Now, next up on the list, and this is the final person I'm going to talk about, is Garcelle Phipp, I think is how you pronounce her name. I had to look up her name because I just knew her as the bar woman, to be honest. But she is the woman who owns the bar. And I think she's playing a much bigger role than everyone expects. They've obviously put her in and shown her every now and then to show that she's an important character, because she's done nothing important so far, has she? She's had that little scene with Black Croissant, but that's it. Like, I think that she's going to be working for the Mayor, maybe feeding him inside information, and I think she's going to play a crucial role in the third act of the series. Now, I'm just going to talk about some scenes I've liked so far in the Book of Boba Fett. I wrote these down in very random order. They're not in chronological order, but here we go. The birth / escape of Boba Fett when he broke out and, well, he didn't kill the Sarlacc, but when he escaped from the Sarlacc, I feel like it would have been cool to spend more time down there, but the image of his hand coming out the sand and him crawling out is so cool. Obviously, the train fight / chase is
I think the best thing we've seen so far in the show. I feel like that was just so cool with Boba and the Tuscan Raiders raiding that train. I think it was just perfectly shot. I remember saying when I was watching it, just how good the shots of the sand simulations were. Like, it's just incredible. And I might try do some reaction videos maybe in the future. Let me know if you would like to see that, because some of my reactions when I watched that episode were, I loved that episode. Episode 2 was so good. And then, like how we've already spoke about, the palace break-in scene with Fennec and Boba was incredible. The killing the Starlack just after this scene was great, when the blaster bomb thing, I'm so sorry, hardcore Star Wars fans, I can't remember the name of it. When that blows up, it's just like the animation style and noise, like the boom. I know we saw that in the Boba Fett chase with Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Clone Wars, but it was really cool to see that brought back, and I love when they bring stuff back from older films. I'd also like to shine some light on the lizard scene, because I feel like that's a scene that maybe some people might forget after the show's done, but I remember watching that and thinking that was really cool, how they did the hallucination aspect of it, and I don't know, that was a really cool different, I'm trying to think of the word, spiritual moment in the series with the Tuscans and Boba. Now, is this show perfect? Absolutely not. There's obviously going to be some things that are not in place properly and not everyone's going to like. But I think overall this show's done a good job at doing all the fundamentals properly, and overall it's made the show good and enjoyable and intriguing. Are there things they could do better? I think so. I think maybe I would have done the flashbacks as the first 2 episodes, just the flashbacks, and then you cut up by episode 3. I feel like that would have been a good way, and maybe you'd feel more attached with the flashbacks. But overall, I thought it was really good, and it's not really something that's an issue. I thought it was still done well, like in the bath of the tank, and like you're still like, it still makes sense. But that's just something maybe I would have tried, or maybe they did try doing that and it didn't succeed, so that's maybe why they didn't do it. Overall, I'm going to rate Book of Boba Fett, the first 4 episodes, mid-season review, I'm going to give it a very solid 8.5 to 8.7. I think 8.5 is a good place to put it, because a show can go from an 8.5 to a 10 in the latter stage of a season, or it can go from an 8.5 to like a 5. Like, it can really plummet. So I really hope it doesn't, but that's my overall thoughts. I think it's a really good show. Now let's talk about some predictions. Obviously, after last episode, I think it's very, very obvious that we will most likely, I'm going to say most likely because you never know, I would expect to see Mando in the next episode. Mostly, I would imagine it'd be episode 5, but if he's not in the next episode, he would definitely will be in the series at some point. But with them alluding to, you know, the Mandalorian soundtrack at the end of last episode, I would imagine we would see Mando pretty early, if anything, into the next season. Next episode. If anything, he might even be in the first 30 seconds. They might go into like a flashback or like a scene of what Mando's doing right now before they cut back to Boba. But that's an obvious prediction. Mando, gonna see him next week or in a few days now. Now, I'm sure a lot of people, obviously, with Mando, would be hoping for Grogu. I'm sorry to let you down, guys, but I really don't think Grogu's gonna be in this series. Obviously, he went off with Luke at the end of Mandalorian Season 2. And I do think Grogu will appear in Season 3 of The Mandalorian, but I do not think we will see him in Book of Boba Fett. I also think some Tuscan Raiders survived the slaughter, and I think we will see some of them in the series. My money is on either the female character or the little kid who we saw, which I think it will be the little kid, the child Tuscan Raider. I think that will be the one that survived. And just as we're throwing predictions out there, I'm gonna guess I haven't heard anyone say this, but I'm gonna guess it. I reckon Black Croissant will die, but I reckon he will die by sacrificing himself which will, overall, that will finish his character arc, because, he's a bit of a selfless bounty hunter, doesn't really care for anybody. I feel like it'd be a nice way to end his character arc if he sacrificed himself for Boba Fett or somebody else. That would make everyone love him even more. But I wouldn't want him to die because he's badass, but I reckon they could pull that off. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this video here. I would just like to quickly say before I end this video, I uploaded a video yesterday. It will be currently today, and it is doing very well compared to other videos. It's currently got 50 views. None of my videos usually get anywhere near that, and it's only been a few hours, so who knows what it'll be on by tomorrow. But I would just like to say a massive thank you for the support, and if you guys want to see more of me, please like, subscribe, comment if you want, and I will see you guys in a bit. Bye bye.